guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet the Bulla Beanie. Now the written pattern is available for free on my blog. I will link it down below, but if you prefer to watch a video, just keep on watching. It is a beautiful ribbed beanie, perfect for winter. It can easily be customized to suit any head size, so if you're wanting to make it for a baby or a child or an adult, it can be easily altered. But today we're going to be making it in the adult size. So to get started, what we're going to need is about 120 grams of a chunky 12-ply yarn, a pom-pom of choice. You can opt to leave the pom-pom off if you don't want to have a pom-pom, or you could do what I'm doing today and make your own pom-pom out of yarn, which is why I've got my pom-pom maker here. Or you could of course use a faux fur pom-pom, which is this one. We've then got a needle to sew in our ends, a pair of scissors, and a 7mm crochet hook. Now, as I said before, this pattern can easily be changed to suit the age of the person that you're making it for. So if you did want to make your beanie smaller, then you could opt to go down a weight in your yarn. So instead of a 12-ply, you might prefer to use a 10-ply or an 8-ply, and then use a different size hook, so the corresponding hook size to the yarn that you're using. Otherwise, you can also alter this pattern by simply changing the amount of chains you begin with at the start of the pattern and changing the number of rows you complete throughout the pattern. So totally up to you if you want to alter the size of the pattern. That is a couple of options for you, but today we're going to be making the adult size. So once you've got everything together, just move all your things to the side. And we're just going to take our yarn and find the end. And we're then going to start with a slip knot, of course, popping that onto our hook. And then we want to chain up a total of 42 stitches. Remembering this is for the adult size. Forty-one, 42. So we've chained up 42 chains, and we are now going to half double crochet in the third chain from the hook. So finding that third chain, so 1, 2, 3, so we're going into that third chain there, yarning over, inserting our hook. And we're now going to half double crochet in every chain all the way to the end. So I'm just up to the very last chain now, completing my very last half double crochet for that row. We're then going to chain 2 and turn our work. Now that first chain 2 there does not count as a stitch, so for our next stitch we will be going into that very first stitch there. We are now going to complete a whole nother row of half double crochet, but this time we're going into the back loop only. So we're only going to be inserting our hook in through that back loop. That's how we get our ribbed effect for our beanies. So yarning over and inserting our hook into the back loop and completing our half double crochet, and we're doing that for the whole row. So in through the back loop, completing half double crochet, again back loop only, and we're going to continue this for the entire row. Just finishing off that last half double crochet of the row. Again, chaining 2, turning our work, and that is the end of row 2. We're now going to continue repeating that exact row until we have a total of 30 rows. So when you flip your work over, you'll see these, it's creating like a ribbed effect, and that will make it super easy to count your rows. So we want to have a total of 30 rows altogether, including the 2 that we've just completed. So go ahead now and finish off the remaining rows, and I will meet you back here at the end. Remembering we're just going into the back loop only with our half double crochets. So go ahead now, complete the rest of your 30 rows, and I will meet you back here once we're done. Okay, so I have now completed 30 rows of the ribbing, so you'll be able to count. So each rib will be 2 rows, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. So I've got 30 rows all together, including the 2 we did at the beginning. I'm now going to, at the end of row 30, we're just going to chain 1. We're then going to fold our work in half so the short edges are on top of each other. Turn it over. And we're then going to be slip stitching all the way across to join these 2 edges together. So we've chained 1, we're going into that very first stitch. We're then going into that very first stitch on the other side and simply slip stitching to join the edges, ensuring that you go through both layers. And we're just going to continue that all the way to the other end. So we're almost at the end now. Just completing our last couple of slip stitches to join both layers together. Last one. Perfect. So this is what you should have so far. You should see that there is a join there. Don't worry if it's super noticeable because this is going to be the inside of our beanie, so you won't see it on the outside. But now what you can do is remove your hook, and we want to leave a good, I want to say about 10 inches or so of length before we cut our yarn. And then you can go back in and pull that through. I like to tie the ends together just to make sure it is nice and secure. Just like that. Now we are going to take our needle and we're going to thread that long end that we just left before we cut our yarn. This is probably a little bit too long, but you'd rather be safe than sorry, right? So threading our yarn through our needle. And now we're just going to go around the entire edge here, just weaving in and out of the edge, just like so. So in, then back out, in, out, pulling through. And we're just continuing this all the way around until we reach our seam. So here we are now back at the seam. I'm just going to do one more weaving in and out. Now that you're back to where we started from, all you're going to do now is pull this tight, and you will notice that your beanie will cinch together, which is exactly what we want it to do. So it should be cinched like that now. Pulling tight, make sure you don't pull it too tight that your yarn breaks off, but you want to make sure it's nice and secure. We're then going to take that end there and we're going to tie that together so it's nice and secure. I like to do 2 or 3 knots just to be extra sure that it's nice and tight. We can then cut that yarn. Make sure you leave a decent enough tail that we can sew in later on. Just going to turn it inside, well, I should say right side out now. And we're just going to fold up that cuff there. And this is what your beanie should look like so far. So you could go ahead now and sew in all your ends, and I am going to make the pom-poms. So you can make a yarn pom-pom if you like. You could use a faux fur pom-pom if you like. You could leave the pom-pom off if you didn't want a pom-pom. I today am going to make a yarny pom-pom using my pom-pom maker. I'm not going to take you through step by step how to make a pom-pom. I'm sure most of you probably already know how to make one. But I am just going to make up a pom-pom using my Clover pom-pom maker. And I'm using the same yarn as I used for my beanie. If you're doing a yarn pom-pom, you might prefer to use a contrasting color. But that is totally up to you. Now when you're tying off your pom-pom, make sure you leave enough length, because this length here is what we're going to use to sew our pom-pom onto our beanie. So just ensure that you leave enough length that you can use that to sew your beanie, sew your pom-pom onto your beanie at the end. So now we have our pom-pom ready to go. You may need to go in and trim some little bits just to tidy it up a little bit, but ours is looking pretty good at the moment. So what you want to do now is take your hook and with your beanie facing right side out, you want to just insert your hook through there, so through the little hole that we've got at the, sorry, not through the hole, next to the hole that we've got at the top from when we cinched it, and you just want to pull one strand of the end that we left on your pom-pom through that side, and then we're going to go in on the other side of that hole and pull through the other strand. So then you've got both strands on the inside of your beanie. You can then now flip it out. Just disregard those ends that we haven't sewn in from earlier. But now you can go ahead and tie these two long ends together to secure your pom-pom nice and tight. Again, I like to do a double or a triple knot just to make sure that it is nice and secure. And then just going to trim off those ends. Make sure you leave enough length that you can go back and sew in later. And that is our beanie complete. So this is what you should be left with. Give that a little trim there. So this is what you should be left with now. Your beanie is now complete. Obviously, I still have to go in and sew in all the ends on the inside. But once you've done that, your beanie is complete and ready to be worn. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and make sure you comment down below if you did try this pattern and you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well and turn on those notifications so you will be notified of all my future videos. But in the meantime, I will see you later and have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See ya.